Okay, Brent.
Okay, Josh.
This is Speak Now or Whatever. This is our interview with Art War of the Screaming Squeegees distribution company. They are known for specializing in skateboard screen printing and world renowned for having the highest quality printing in the business.
Beautiful.
They have printed since 1987 for a plethora of companies, just to name a few: Alien Workshop, Birdhouse, Blind, Foundation, Shorties, World Industries, huge skateboard corporation, and Zero, just to name a few. Additionally, Art talks to us in this interview about their collaborations they've done with musicians, like bands and artists coming to them and collaborating to print very limited edition custom screen printed decks that they can sell to their fans, and like having a commemorative like Pearl Jam skate deck.
Incredible.
A Pixie skate deck. And then he tells us in this interview, too, about some of the other bands that they've just now collaborated with as well. And this weekend, Screaming Squeegees and Art will be screen printing commemorative skate decks for the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas. And why are they doing that? It's their second anniversary.
That's right.
They're having one big party, essentially beginning today, that's taking place from now all the way till April 1st. To commemorate the Punk Rock Museum's second anniversary. So Art and his team will be down there, as he says, live screen printing skate decks. And once they're done, there's not going to be any more.
Yeah, so if you haven't been out to the Punk Rock Museum in Las Vegas, it's an incredible experience. They have a bar. They have a tattoo shop. You can get married there.
Yep.
They have so much history, but from Aquabat costume to, Mighty Mighty Ballstones to, the Clash, like
big Clash section,
handwritten, notes and things. Yeah. I mean, it's just incredible. They've got an entire wall of leather jackets from, some of these big time punk rock bands
that are out in the open,
that
you can touch.
You can touch them
and smell.
Yep.
Yeah. Not to mention the Pennywise Garage.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's an incredible experience. I highly recommend getting out there. Even if you have just a little bit of an inkling towards punk rock music, you will greatly appreciate this.
Absolutely. And that's why it was cool to talk to Art, because we did get to touch on this very thing that we keep hitting on, I think, in some of the interviews, is the community of punk rock music. And the Punk Rock Museum is certainly a place that elevates that and promotes that, and Art is a part of that. He talks about his skateboarding history with the punk rock history and how they've always been intertwined. And I think this weekend is a great big celebration of that. Art's going to be there doing the screen printing, and as well, this whole weekend, the Punk Rock Museum has multiple things going on. For their second anniversary, just this weekend, they're going to be launching 2 books from Punk Hostage Press. They're going to have a parking lot show March 29th featuring TSOL and Voodoo Glow Skulls. They're having a roundtable discussion with Fat Mike, Kevin Lyman, Jennifer Finch, and it's going to be moderated by George Strombopoulos. A photo exhibit from Edward Culver. And if you guys didn't know this, April 1st is their second anniversary, and the museum is free admission on that day.
Wow. Love it.
It's incredible. But tomorrow, March 29th, Art will be there screen printing these commemorative Punk Rock Museum skate decks. So you got to be there to get one, because if you don't, you'll never get another chance.
You're definitely missing out.
But many shout outs were given in this interview. We had some glitches technologically. We had some glitches with either Wi-Fi signal, but we managed to talk to Art, and he is a genuine dude. Really cool guy, and we got to shout out, and we'll do it now. Shout out Melanie from the Punk Rock Museum. Shout out Vinny Fiorello, co-founder of the Punk Rock Museum. Very thankful for them, and very thankful to be able to talk to Art.
Yeah, absolutely.
So here's our interview with Art War. We figured it out.
Gotcha.
Hey, you guys had me muted.
The volume was down.
Yeah, dude. Hey, you guys are just like, all right, cut this guy. Sorry about being late. You know, there's a time difference.
We know, man. Yeah, it's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, we are figuring this out too as far as the time zone thing. We have to remind ourselves every time. We're like, okay, wait, Central, and then it's PST, right? It's this time, then it's this time.
Yeah, and I'm in like mountain time, I guess. I think. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Where are you?
Where are you right now?
I'm in Arizona. right now.
Oh, shoot.
Got
Yeah,
you.
and I think in Arizona, you guys like, there's something about like, don't administer something about the time switch or some
Okay,
shit.
cool.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very different here, and it's like I think it's Mountain Standard Time. You know?
Okay, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. So you're in Arizona right now.
Yes.
What's happening?
So I came out here. We did the Phoenix Am last week,
Okay.
and then I went. We're doing boards for the Ataris.
No kidding.
Okay. Yeah, so I went backstage with them. They just played with Alien Ant Farm. That was pretty cool.
Whoa.
So where we record is in a music venue. It has 3 venues. It's a big facility. But Alien Ant Farm just came through here, I think back in November. They're the nicest dudes in the world.
Yeah, they're so nice and cool, and yeah, we all hung out. So, hopefully that'll turn into, for me being a skateboarder, it's like I want everyone to have skateboards.
Yes.
So,
Totally.
so I'm always like, hey, you guys need a board because they're like these Atari's boards are cool, and I'm like, I can do boards for you too.
Yeah.
Dude,
well, and
awesome.
I was going to get into this with you too, because I've seen, I took a look at all the decks that you guys have done, or at least a good portion of the decks that you've done. Your collaborations with musicians. I mean, you guys have a list of so many.
How it all went down is, so I've been skating since early 80s, and there was always this legend of this guy named Chicken. I'll just, I'll tell you how I hear it in my head. Like,
sure. There
was this legend, Chicken, and you could never meet Chicken. He was elusive. Like, who's this guy Chicken? But you knew he was behind everything, And I want to say, let's see, 20 something years ago, I had the pleasure of meeting him, and I go in the warehouse and it was fully like CIA, like no photos, no nothing, like, and there was like World Industries and cool stuff on the racks, just stuff that I was like a kid in the candy store, like, holy shit, and, we became, really good friends through the years. But really he's the master printer. Like, he's the one, like, I mean, he's responsible for Mark Gonzalez and Gator in the 80s and Vision skateboards. And then Rocco came to him and was like, I want to start World Industries. And that's Screaming Squeegees started in a garage, like in 87,
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. And so for me to be able to be a part of it and come on and just share the, the anti-China and the whole like DIY aspect, that's what we're just trying to keep alive. Like, spray painting your shoes, duct taping your shoes, like cool stuff. So, but I definitely want to give the shout out and credit to him. I mean, I'm glad to be a part of it now and, keep it going. But yeah, Chicken is definitely the master behind the scene,
Cool. Shout out Chicken.
Yes.
But so you started skating in the 80s. So just first things first, how'd you get interested at all in skateboarding? Was it all around you and immediately you're like, I'm interested in that?
No, actually, I was playing baseball and soccer, and I would use it as a mode of transportation, to be honest,
Cool.
And there was this little curb spot everyone would skate at, and I remember one day just, I'd stop there and, shoot the shit. I knew everyone. I remember they were like at it, I guess, like they were being sarcastic, like, and sometimes like, dude, you're so good,
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just like, took it with a grain of salt, but kept skating around. And then I got injured playing soccer, and I was at home for like 2 weeks just watching skateboard videos.
Whoa.
And I think that's when it set in, just like, this is what I want to do. Like, I want to create a video. Like, I want someone else to feel this hype, And then from then on, it never stopped. I mean, through all the ups and downs, and I remember back then, getting paid to skate was like maybe $400 a month.
Wow.
Maybe, like, it wasn't enough to live, but you just did it.
Yeah. Dude, that's wild, man.
Yeah, you just did it. So
Yeah, my first board was actually a World Industries board, man. It was beautiful. I mean, all those designs were World Industries. I think that was the only board I really cared about was World Industries.
World Industries.
And then, yeah, but
we could only get boards.
If it was the early days,
mm-hmm.
If it was the early days, Chicken printed that board.
Whoa.
Okay, nice.
Thank him for us. Thank him for us.
Yeah, I think this was like a hand-me-down for my older brother or something.
Yes.
So it could have been. So I don't know.
Right. One of my earliest boards I remember, or that I bought with my own money, was a Foundation. I don't know.
Rad.
Yeah, Foundation.
So I'm born and raised San Diego.
Cool.
And Tumyeto and Swank and Foundation, they're all from San Diego. So.
Cool.
Oh yeah, man.
It's from the turf. But so skateboarding was in your blood, and then at some point you get involved with Screaming Squeegees.
Well, before then, I had skated for brands like 8th Street Skateboards and other little companies, and I had been sponsored and skated. And then I ran, Vox footwear and stuff in the industry. This whole time, remaining friends and doing stuff with Chicken, but not being like a partnership or both in the same, house. It was just more like, homies and, hey, I need this done, or hey, you want to do this, and working on collaborations and stuff, know? And then, DM, let's go. And Chicken's more the like, family man, married, his kids and the day to day, so it's kind of like we kind of like help each other, like in that way,
Yeah, that's awesome, dude.
Cool.
Is there a delay on your end or my end? Sorry.
Not really sure.
I'm trying to get closer to some.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll go this way to the garage. Maybe that. Yeah, I don't know. I walked into the garage because it started delaying, so I don't know if that helped or hurt.
We'll see. But so when you got involved, when you got involved with Chicken, with Screaming Squeegees, were you working on the boards? You working on screen printing, or are you doing artwork?
I was doing artwork, sales, events. I mean, I have, screened shirts and boards, but, I'm more of a, I like to fly. I like being at the events, so I was more like, I want to be here. I want to be there. So I was more the mouthpiece, I feel, that's cool. More my role, is like, talking to people and getting the events done,
Mm-hmm. You're repping the company. Yeah, wherever you go.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel for any company you need that, someone that's gonna like, be repping and out at all the stuff, or otherwise, how are you even heard of?
Yeah, 100%. What I wanted to ask you too is, because we're going to get into in just a minute this collaboration between you guys and the Punk Rock Museum. I wanted to talk to you about the connection and the relationship of punk rock and skateboarding. And not even just punk rock, but punk rock, hip hop, and skateboarding in that relationship, and how you saw that even in the 80s and even to now, and how that's been such a vital part of the skateboarding culture.
Well, I think, in the 80s, 90s, I mean, besides the fact the music was awesome, I think we all had the same agenda, anti the man, anti the system. Punk rock, I feel the early was like anti-government, and skateboarding, we were kind of the outcasts and outsiders. We're getting kicked out of places. There was nowhere else for us to go. So I think it was just hand in hand that we collaborated and felt safe together, because it's like everything was underground and these rad shows, and you'd want to go skate and like put on some Minor Threat or something, and it was just and then you saw the punk rockers skating and vice versa. And, I'd go to shows. They'd be like, can I try your board? I'd be like, can I try your guitar? And it was just, it was just so cool,
That's fantastic. Yeah. And it's even now. From there all the way through Vans Warped Tour and even to this day, it's just this interwoven relationship that's just never going away.
Yeah. And the DIY aspect, the way they would sticker up their guitars, do the patches on the jackets, the tattoos, it's like same thing with skateboarding. We would, color the grip tape, put stickers, put hidden messages on our Vans, like fuck the cops or, whatever,
That's right. And to go back to some of the things that you've, with regards to music that you guys have done and some of these artists, maybe you touched on this just for a minute, but like these artists, like I saw the boards you guys did for Pearl Jam. I saw the ones you did for Pixies. And I know there's a host of other ones. And some of them you might have just done for fun, just like I saw the MF Doom ones that you just do to like honor the artist. But like it's something so special though to me that you can do that for an artist, collaborate with them, and they have that piece to share with their fans. You know, they have that skate deck that you guys made. That's got to be exciting.
Yeah, you never know who's going to walk through the door, and whether it be the actual band or the management, it's always exciting. We're always like, oh my gosh, I mean, we did a board for Devo at one point, Vandals. We do a lot of stuff for TSOL. We have a board for them right now that they're going to be selling tomorrow at the event. Yeah. So yeah, it's very exciting because, we grew up being fans of these people, and loving the music and, just being skater punk rockers. So when they want to come to us and be like, hey, can you do something? It's just, it's almost mind blowing. And it takes you back to like being a kid. And you're like, man, I remember when this album came out, or I remember this. And, it's such like a rad feeling, like everything was worth it at that moment.
It's very special. Yeah, I know. I'm sure the artists really, really appreciate that as well. I saw the TSOL boards that you guys did for Dance With Me.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They've been flying like that. It's so weird. We never know. Sometimes stuff, and that's weird. And, TSOL boards have just been like, we can't keep them in stock.
That's crazy. And sometimes these are just limited edition things. So like the collaboration you're doing right now, let's go ahead and just get into that. The collaboration you're doing with the Punk Rock Museum. TSOL is going to be there coming up this weekend. That's tomorrow. For that show, but like the
tomorrow,
the boards that you guys have made for the Punk Rock Museum, this limited edition, you've already printed some boards for them, their very first Punk Rock Museum skate decks, and so now you have this special commemorative ones. So talk about your collaboration with the Punk Rock Museum. Was this a thing where you guys, again, like, was this you reaching out to them, or was it them coming to you?
This is actually a Cinderella story, if I'm allowed to tell it.
Please.
I was at Designer Con in Las Vegas. We did boards for a company called Atomic Toy Box, and it was Mars Attacks boards.
Okay.
And I'm just being me, I'm at the booth, I'm just networking, having a beer, and I meet some girl, and she was like, do you do the boards? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, I'm with the Punk Rock Museum booth. You should come by. And I'm like, yeah, cool. So I went over to check it out. And they gave me some stuff, and they're like, Vinny from Less Than Jake is here, and he's looking for maybe boards to be done. So now I'm in this hunt for Vinny. I don't know who Vinny is, but I'm hunting for,
Gotta find him.
And I find Vinny, and Vinny is just such an amazing, awesome human being,
Yes, he is.
And we hit it off like right away to the point where he's like, what are you doing? Come with me. And we literally partied all that night, and it was Vinny, Melanie, Mona, and I think a couple other people, and they were just so humble and rad and nice. And it actually started with, we didn't even talk about Punk Rock Museum boards. We wanted to do the board Darby Crash is holding, that Germs board.
Oh, nice. Cool.
That's what we were like conspiring on, like we're drinking and like, we need to do that board, and then it turned into like, who has the rights? Who do we have to talk to? So then me and Chicken talked, and Chicken's like, why don't we just do Punk Rock Museum boards, see if people are even digging it? So then that's, then all the talks went in. They're like, yeah, let's do it. And we did it, and they sold out, I think, in 8 days, which was pretty spectacular,
Wow.
And then at that point, they're like, hey, we're doing the 2-year. Would you guys want to print some boards in the parking lot and, commemorate like the DIY spirit of punk rock, and like show kind of like maybe someone back in the day would be doing this, like spraying their board or whatever. And we're like, yeah, awesome, let's go. So that's kind of how it went. So we're going to be showing up with 100 limited 2nd year anniversary decks that will be live screening tomorrow, and then I think there's 25 or 50 of the second colorway of the Punk Rock Museum boards. The first colorway sold out, will never be done again. Man, so I think that's the way we're going to run it, is like every color you'll never get again. You'll never see again. So
I love that.
we want to keep it special like that. If someone does a tour and gets it signed, they don't have to think like, oh man, there's 500 other of these. Like, no, you got a very special, board.
Yeah. That's going to be fantastic for the fans, man. For all those people there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that I'm not going to be able to get out there. So,
and I mean, to take it a step further, if you don't mind, once again, just want to shout out Vinny so much because through him, that's how I'm doing the Atari's boards. That's how, we've talked to multiple other bands that are interested, and and it is some kind of clout. You talk to a band, you're like, I do the Punk Rock Museum, and instantly it's like a stamp of approval. Of
course,
yeah.
Well, so, and I tell that to Vinny all the time. I'm like, Vinny, none of this would have happened without you. And we kind of laughed, but yeah, I mean, he orchestrated it, and from what I heard, he was the one pushing. Like, we need other merch. I want boards, skateboarding, and punk rock, and some were into it, some were against it, and we did the trial run, and it sold out, and now they're like, all right, let's go.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I mean, Vinny is really the reason why we're even talking to you or anything to do with Punk Rock Museum.
That's
because
true.
Like, after we did the interview with him, he was just like, here's all this other stuff. And Melanie's done an incredible job of setting us up with some of these, I mean, we just did an interview with Milo, and it was just incredible. So it's just like all this sick shit that's just kind of happening and making its way to us.
So you guys are doing it like on the podcast side.
We really are.
On the skateboard side. But once again, it all comes together, and bringing music, skateboarding, knowledge, all, and I that's what I think's rad. It's like we're all working for the same cause,
It's true. You really start to see how deep the punk rock community runs, how deep those roots are.
It's very deep. Yeah, the amount of support and people that show up, it's pretty crazy. And just from seeing the post promoting tomorrow, I've been seeing a lot of comments and stuff. So I'm pretty, like, right after this podcast, just so you guys know, I leave to go there. It's like 4.5 hours from here. So
nice.
And then I go hang out with Vinny, start setting up.
Yep.
Hopefully have he's a big what's it called? Like luau bars. I forgot those drinks, but Vinny likes the
that's him.
Like I forgot what. Yeah. So, and I'm always excited to see him and Melanie and Nui because, everyone's living in different places, so it's good to all meet. It's like a home base. Yeah. Are you guys coming? Or are you guys?
We're right here in We're talking to you from Alabama.
Did we lag?
Yeah, a little bit there.
All right. You see us?
Yeah.
You hear us?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, we're in Alabama right now.
Yeah. So we're not even on the West Coast, man. Like we just decided to do this podcast, and we were just like, shit, let's make this work.
Central Standard Time.
Yeah,
that's where we are.
But
okay.
Yeah, no, I've been out to the museum before. I went out there last year before we even did this podcast and stuff. And I think Navarro was out there. Jason,
yes,
Mm-hmm.
he was doing some hosting and stuff. And so yeah, dude, it's a sick place. Excited to go back.
I'm gonna get there one day. I'm gonna get there one day, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it is so amazing. So much history. Everyone's so nice. And every time I've been there, I mean, let's see. I partied with Fletcher from Pennywise, Greg
Nice.
Norton. Me and Greg Norton became friends, and we partied. Like, there's just every time it's just been so rad, And I'm like I said, it's like I'm like a little kid again.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to have a little second home there. You're gonna have like a side home.
Yeah.
We can go over there and hang out with your friends more often.
You guys there? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. When it lags, it's kind of funny. It's funny and creepy. It's like pause.
No problem. Yeah, well, just to shout out Vinny again. I mean, look, we can talk about Vinny for 30 minutes if you want to. We'll just set aside 30 minutes to talk about Vinny. Yeah.
Vinny is such an amazing human.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, all this, you guys are saying the same thing. It just seems like he's very passionate and cares a lot to bring it all together, and that's very rad,
Yeah,
like I mean,
I know.
Just think about that, one human just like trying to bring it all together. I think that's so amazing.
I know, and we got to talk to him for an hour about not just his band but this museum, and him telling us his passion about this museum and the fact that it's a living museum, and getting to see the looks on people's faces walking through it. And I can tell you exactly why he was pushing for merch when he was talking to you about the skate decks and stuff, is because Less Than Jake always had the coolest merch. And not only that, he's a toy guy. Like, he owned his own toy company and like made toys for a while. Mm-hmm. So he's a merch dude. Like, he's got that, he just has visions for things like that.
Well, I think it's important. I mean, even me being, skate, they laugh at me at the skate shop because the first thing I go to is where's the trinkets,
Yeah,
where's the keychains? Mm-hmm. Where's the stickers? That, to me, that's cool. Like, where's the little stuff that, like, when you're not skating, people could still be like, oh, okay, he's a skater, like, just it's cool.
Yeah, that's right.
And so, I agree with him on that because sometimes you can get someone into it through another avenue. Maybe they're scared to skate or they can't skate well, but they could still like the culture or the music or whatnot. And, I don't know, maybe it could be from a, pillowcase to a sticker to a keychain, but it just helps promote,
It does. Yeah. And like, again, back to the punk rock aspect of it, you go to a show and you love this band and you're going to get the patch and you're going to wear that patch, stitch it on yourself and represent that. Even if no one else has one, you're going to rep that band. It's the same thing with the skateboarding community with, you start riding a board, then you're repping the gear. And that made it's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's gold because that's almost like they bought it, but it's free advertisement.
It is.
If you think about it, it's like, how many Misfit shirts do you see in the world? You know what I mean? Like, it's like it's free advertisement,
Well, yeah, they sell them like at Walmart now.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I know.
I know.
Can you imagine whoever created the original movie, The Crimson? Like, I don't know if they're still alive
probably
or what,
not.
but I they would probably just be blowing their mind. Like it's everywhere.
Misfits shirt is at Walmart now. Like, wow, that image.
That's wild. Is it wild? All right, so you're going to the museum. What's for you next? What's after that?
After the meet. Okay, so I'll give you guys my weekend right
here.
Sure. I drive here. I set up, hang out with Vinny, do the event tomorrow, sleep, wake up, drive right back to Phoenix. I'm going backstage at Danzig.
Danzig?
Nice.
Yeah,
no
Danzig's
kidding.
playing Phoenix on Sunday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's my weekend right there, if I survive.
Hope you make it to Danzig. That's what
awesome.
you're saying.
Well, I'll make it there. The condition I'm in, that's the whole, that's the trick.
You can be worn out.
Oh, I'm going to be worn out, dude. Yeah. And then after that, we're doing some cool stuff for a company called Paul Bearer Press.
Okay.
It's a buddy of mine, Craig. They're out of Texas. It's kind of like, does a lot of horror stuff, has a lot of horror licensing.
Yeah.
And we're doing this cool coffin-shaped board for him with Vlad the Impaler on it. It's really awesome. So, you're just asking, so I'm giving shout outs at the same time because
keep shouting it out.
That's what's on the agenda,
Fantastic.
Oh yeah, dude, that's awesome.
But your home base you're in
home base is Costa Mesa, California.
Costa Mesa.
We are right next door to the Vans headquarters.
Oh, no
right
kidding.
There like right next door to us is Vans. So
dude.
We get to collaborate with them, or sometimes I hear music and I go over there and it's Tony Alva and Ray Barbie band practicing, which once again goes right back into punk rock and skateboarding. They have a band room there at Vans,
That's
absolutely.
So
of course.
Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You're going to shout out to Kevin Lyman too. You're going to get to see him.
Oh yeah. Kevin Lyman is the man, dude, and I'm stoked that Warped Tour is, I guess coming back, and I guess at the museum they're going to have a Warped Tour exhibit.
Oh, are they really?
Yeah, that's what I was hearing. That
cool.
when the Warped Tour comes, they're going to have some kind of Warped Tour exhibit there, and I think that's important because that's been a big part of punk music,
skateboarding,
surf, all of it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. And for 30 years, this is the reason they're coming back is that big 30th anniversary that they're going to be doing this year. And that's 30 years of promoting DIY ethics. 30 years of promoting that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It makes me feel old.
All of us. All of us, man.
Yeah, dude. It's like 30 years. I'm like, dang, I feel like it was just yesterday.
I know. My first Warped Tour, I don't know about you, my first Warped Tour, I was 18. I just graduated high school. And all I wanted to do that summer, we had planned to go to Warped Tour. This is 99. Go to Warped Tour in Atlanta, see Less Than Jake, Pennywise, all these great bands. suffer tremendously under the 110-degree heat on the asphalt.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yes.
yeah, 18 years old, that was my first Warped Tour.
Yeah, I want to say I've been to almost all of them. That's crazy to think. It's
You
been
go
that
like
long,
every summer.
know?
You went like you were the kind of person that went like every summer.
Yeah, at the time it was just like traveling, skating, music, and I
Yes.
felt it was just hand in hand. And you wanted to be where things were going on because that's how you made the connections.
Yeah.
Were you ever in a band? Did you ever play anything?
I play guitar. I was in bands, but just little fun bands with friends.
Yeah.
I would say the closest to anything cool was I came back from a skate trip. We drove down from San Francisco. We're in Venice Beach, and this is still when it was like graffiti pits. There's no skate park there, and we're skating, and I lost it. Like I ate it, and my board shot into the grass, hit some guys playing guitar and hanging out, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. And they were like, "Oh no, dude! Like, can we try your board?" And I'm like, "Oh, can I jam on your guitar?" And I guess it was some of the guys from Saves the Day. They had just got on. They had just got on Vagrant Records, and Vagrant is like Venice Beach, and so I got to hang out with them and jam with them a little bit, which was pretty rad.
That is cool.
That's funny. They're coming here to play a festival in September or October. I mean
October.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Well, you're going to have a great weekend.
Oh, rad.
Man. You're going to have an incredible weekend.
Yeah, and I'll definitely talk to Vinny, see if we can get you guys a board out there if you don't have one.
Oh,
Dude,
well, yeah.
Did I delay? Did you get me?
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah.
I heard it. Hey, we would love nothing more because he knows we're big fans of his. We talked to him for a long time. And
and your artwork and stuff y'all do some incredible stuff.
Very incredible stuff.
Really great.
Talk to
I'm
Vinny.
gonna make sure Vinny signs one. And hopefully a lot of other people, and get it out to you guys.
Let's
That'd
hook
be
it.
sick,
Let's
dude.
hook that up, man.
Yeah.
We really.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, we really appreciate your time, man. And sorry for the time and all that kind of stuff, but.
Yeah.
No, I feel bad. I was late. I was loading the car, and Melanie called me. She's like, "Are you doing this?" I'm like, "Oh." And, you never want to let Melanie down.
I don't
She's
want
awesome,
to.
too.
No, we don't either. She's helped us out, and she's.
Let's give her a shout out.
Shout out, Melanie.
Even though she's Canadian,
I'm in.
Hey, man.
I lived there. I lived there for almost 5 years. So
Look, at this point,
I'm
I'm
in.
standing with all Canadians. Okay, at this point, I'm
just playing. I
I
give
know.
her a hard time. We
I
joke
know,
about
man.
it.
Great, dude. Well, hey, we hope you enjoy this weekend. We hope you make it to Danzig, and we hope we get to talk to you some more and continue just seeing what you're putting out there in the world.
Yeah, awesome, man. I really appreciate you guys, and like I said, I'll make sure you guys get a board out there.
Please,
Awesome,
thank
dude.
you, Art. We
Thanks,
appreciate
Art,
it.
man. We appreciate talking to you.
Thank you guys so much.
All right.
buddy. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right, man. See you guys later.
Bye.
We'd like to take the time to thank Workplay here in Birmingham, Alabama, for allowing us to record and edit our episodes in their dedicated podcast studio. If you or someone else you know is interested in starting a podcast without the hassle of purchasing equipment, please reach out to Workplay at workplay.com.